right. So the recording is in progress. Let's see if if you have any questions that I can answer. Anyone? All right. I think this week you probably have seen some new concepts, things you haven't seen before. So next week it would be mostly new stuff, and then it will be all new stuff after that. So you should be quite aware of that and make sure that you keep up with the material, and you should read the text and other reading assignments before coming to class. You should watch all the videos. No pain, no gain. Okay, so the evening is going to be used mostly for reviewing the material, mostly through class exercises. So this week we are looking more at Java concepts, including serialization and generics, and of course all the concepts like classes, objects, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding continue to be studying. I mean, continue to be studied. We can never leave those things behind. They will always be there throughout the semester. And I hope you are getting a hang of Java FX. So I don't have any specific thing to emphasize tonight, but I would be very happy to answer any questions that you might have. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you, there was an error in the quiz that was due last week. That was the quiz on the reading material for lecture 2. The wrong question was question number 5. What I did was I added 1 point to every student who had that question marked wrong, or your answer was marked wrong. If that was the case, I added 1 point to your score. So please note that question number 5 of last week's quiz was wrong. There were 2 correct answers, and some of you were marked wrong. So I just gave 1 point to everybody for whom the answer was marked incorrect. Okay. And if you notify me of any inconsistencies in the quizzes or anything, I would be very pleased. I can correct those things that would help me improve the material. Okay. Any questions before we start on the class exercise? As I said, I wasn't thinking of spending much time emphasizing anything for this week. I can't think of a single specific topic to stress on beyond what I have provided by way of the videos and the PowerPoint. Anybody?
Professor, I may have came a few minutes late to joining, but if we wanted to get any information about, for example, what line numbers we were dinged at from our rubric for assignment 1, is there any way that's available?
Any line number?
Right. So, for example, I have a documentation error, but it just says that I have a documentation error. I don't necessarily know which lines are responsible for the grading resulting in there being deemed an error, for example.
If it is a documentation error, I provide the feedback through the rubrics saying documentation is incomplete or that kind of stuff. So it I don't usually don't provide the exact method or class before which you might have missed the documentation. For example, there is a rubric that says class documentation, and maybe the total score for this for the last assignment was 2 points for that. 1 point if you missed one or two, and zero if you didn't document most of them. So uh, I think if you look at the rubrics, you may get an idea, and then you can look at your code. And if it is still confusing, you can certainly ask me. For example, one student asked about one of the classes for which they received 1 point less. And then I looked up the assignment, and then I pinpointed exactly where the point was detected. So I would welcome questions. I can even come. A couple of students asked me for a Zoom session regarding documentation. So I would be pleased to spend some time with you explaining what I expect by way of documentation or anything else.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. And don't hesitate to email me with questions, asking for a Zoom session. I'm more than happy to do that. Only thing is, I have class Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I won't be able to meet with you after 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I am not a morning person, so uh, off. It is very hard for me to come before 11 o'clock to meet with you. That's all. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I can definitely be meeting with you till 10 or 11. Okay, that's not a problem. From morning till evening, most of the time, unless I have another meeting. For example, tomorrow I have a meeting at 10:30 in the department. Thursday I have a meeting at 12:30 for something else, and so on. So there are specific times when I may have meetings, but I am more than happy to meet with students. So you should not hesitate to email me or ask for appointments. Okay, I'm more than happy to do that. Any
Thanks
other?
very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? And I believe that continuous interaction is uh, the way to keep the interest and learn material. So I'm all for that. It would really improve the experience that you get out of this course and the learning that you get. As I said, this is one course where you get a lot of really practical ideas or knowledge that you can transfer to work. So any questions on anything that we covered? So please be sure to have watched all the videos before coming to class and read all the material, right? Okay, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to stop recording here.